all creatures great and small. This lesson is written by Ruskin Bond. Let us start with the summary of this lesson. The prose speaks about the human bonding and friendship or friendliness with nature, and also misconception that people have towards nature. Generally, humans try to avoid the friendly attitude with animals, as it was the case here in this prose. The grandfather was enjoying the company with the python, but the grandmother was baffled and shocked to see it. The character of the grandfather was friendly and carefree, and he displayed love and concern to animals as they display similar emotions to the humans. There are two major characters in the lesson, one the grandfather and the other the grandmother. One day, grandfather walks into the house with the python curled around his neck. This shocks the grandmother, who tells him to discard the creature out of the house urgently. But the grandfather tells her that it is too small creature and one must not get afraid of it. Grandmother was a kind of person who generally was afraid of all the crawling creatures. Where once she was also afraid of a chameleon adopted by the grandfather. In this context, she is positive over the chameleon than the python. Grandfather informs her that even though the python won't be living in the house, it will be in the garden. But even this does not suit grandmother's opinion, who says it's a danger for her chickens as it would eat them. But the grandmother was very unhappy over any explanation, and she tells him to keep the python in the bathroom and search for the cellar as soon as possible. But the grandfather was unable to locate him, and so he comes home and moves to the bathroom to feed the python. But when he opens the door, the python isn't there. It had escaped through an open window. At the same time, a visitor, Aunt Mabel, comes to the house. She wants to stay there for 3 weeks. One day she comes running into the house after she sees the python on the guava tree. But grandfather and grandmother were not able to locate it. After some time, frequently the python was seen at various places, including the dressing table where it was seen looking into the mirror. But it could not be traced as it would escape the next moment. And Mabel left the house, being scared of the creature. The grandfather and grandmother made a trap for the python by placing a mirror in the trap with chicken. Within a couple of days, the python was trapped and a decision had to be made on its fate. The final remark is that the python became a victim of the mirror rather than the food. The end part of the poem looks strange and bleak, where the python becomes the victim of the mirror which it was regularly watching. Prose pictures two important aspects of life. One is the human bonding with nature and the creature, and the second one the relationship that never ends even after growing old. The final part of the prose tells us that the python had become victim or is in love with its own reflection that ultimately leads to its own downfall.